everyone. This is Vijayasri working as an assistant professor, Department of CSIT, MLR Institute of Technology. In today's session, we are going to discuss about array of structures and nested structures in C programming. Overview of the session. In today's session, we are going to discuss about array of structures and nested structure. So in previous session, we have discussed how to write a structure and what is a structure. Structure is a derived data type and it is a heterogeneous, that means it is used to store multiple values, different values of different data types. How to write a structure using the keyword struct. Then we have to give the structure name, or we can say it is a tag. Then scope of the structure. Here we'll mention the members of the structure. Members of the structure can be written as data type, variable 1, data type, variable 2, so on. Like this we can write n number of variables. So it is end with a semicolon. These are considered as the members of the structure. So let us convert this into an example. So here I am considering the details of a student, struct, details of a student, struct, student, struct student. This student, the details of a student are, let us suppose that student is having a roll number, name, and then marks. So roll number is of type integer, name is of type character, and not only that, it is a array of characters, or we can say it is a character array. That means it becomes a string. Then marks is of type float and with a semicolon. By this, and with a semicolon. By this, the memory is not allocated. Like we consider it as like a template. It is a template. When the memory is allocated, when we declare a variable to this structure, then only the memory is allocated. So how to declare or how to create a variable for this structure? To create a variable, either we can create here itself while we are writing the structure. Either we can create here itself, like suppose I want the student details of 2 students, let us suppose S1, S2. Either we can create a variable here or S1, S2. Either we can create a variable here or in the main function. In the main function, how to create a variable? Data type and a variable name. Here the data type is struct student. Struct student. Then the variable name is S1. Here, like this also we can create a variable to the structure. Suppose here I consider 2 students. So we can write S1, S2, or we can create a structure variable for another structure variable, struct student S2. Suppose I want a student details of 60. I want the details of the student like a roll number, name and marks for a 60 student. So can we write like this S1, S2, S3, so on is 60? No, this is not a good practice. For this, we have a concept called array of structures. Array of structures. Then, how to write an array of a structure? Like I want the details of a 60 students. So first we'll see how to write a structure. How to write a structure? Already we know that using the keyword struct keyword. Using the keyword struct. So struct is a keyword. I want the details of a student. Then student. Now, so here I am writing the details of a student, that is a roll number. Then name of the student is of character. name, then purchase of character array. So the size of the character here I consider as a 10. Then I want marks also. So float marks. So end of the structure. I created a structure, but I want the details of a 60 student. I want the details of a 60 student. So for that we have an array of a structure. How to create that? How to create an array? Data type, array name and size of the array. But here I am creating array variable for the structure. So the data type of the array must be struct student. Then S is the variable created, but I want 60 student details. For that we have a array. So S of 60. Now this variable, this is a array variable, can store details of a 60 students, which having members like roll number, name and marks. So we'll see. So let us take example of array of structures. Here I consider employee details. To create a structure, we need a struct keyword. To write a structure, we need a struct keyword. Then structure name, that is employee. Here members of the structure are ID, name and a salary. These are the members of the structure. So I want the details of 100 employees. Suppose I want details of 10 employees. That is not good practice, that to create a separate variables like E1, E2, so on, E10. So for that we have a array of a structure. How to create array of a structure? Like how to create an array, data type, array name. In the same way here the data type is the struct employee, and then array name is E and size of the array is 100. That means here we can store the details of 100 employees which are of type struct employee. Then here I consider a n, number of employees, then a I. So number of employees are here, let us suppose 3. That means E of 3. E of 3 employees. Details I want. So this is E of 0, 1 and 2. So let us suppose this is 0, 1, 2. So next is 0 less than 3. Condition is true. Then whatever the details are provided by the user using a scanf function, we can read those details. Like I want the details of E of 0. That means 0th employee. So each employee can access members of ID, name and a salary. Let us suppose the base address of this is 1000. The next would be 1004 and next would be 1034. Because it occupies 4 bytes of memory. Then the next is the name. So name, I have given the size of the name as 30. It is a character array and it can store up to 30 characters. So each is of 1 byte, 1034. The next would be. So here we are storing the base address. That means it is pointing to here. The value here I have given as ID is 123, then name is Rahul, then salary is 1000. Now again I plus, now I becomes 1 less than 3, condition is true. The next employee details, that means the employee which is present in E of 1 here. This employee is also having a members like ID, name and a salary. ID, name, salary. this employee is also access the members of a structure, ID, name and salary. Suppose here the base address is 2000, int occupies 4 bytes, the next would be 2004. Here the name I have given 30 characters, so 30 bytes of memory, the next would be. So here we are storing the base address, that means it is pointing to here. So here I am storing the values 4, 5, 6. Then the name given here is John and the salary is this. Again I plus plus, now I becomes 2, 2 less than 3, condition is true. Condition is true. Then next E of I. E of I is E of 2. The next employee details, the employee which is there in the index E of 2. This employee is also having the members like ID, name, salary. Let us suppose the base address of this is 3000. The next would be 34. So here we are storing the base address. That means it is pointing to here. If we visualize this in this way, the values are stored in array of a structure. Then if I want to print the details, to access the members of the structure, we are having a access operator called dot operator, either to store or to fetch the details of the employee. Then here details of employee is 0, that's 1. Then again for I equal to 0, 0 less than 3, condition is true. Condition is true. Let us suppose here we have 1 to 1. Then name is ABC. Then salary is like this. Then I want to fetch the details of the employee. Then E of 0. To access the members of the structure, we have to use an access operator called dot operator, that is dot, and the member is ID. In E of 0, we have ID as 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 will be printed. Then the next is E of 0 dot name. So E of 0 name is Rahul. Then next E of 0. Next is the E of 0 salary. So E of 0 salary will be printed. Then again I plus plus, now I becomes 1, 1 less than 3, condition is true. Condition is true. Now I am going to print the details in E of I. Employee details in which is stored in E of I. So here I value is 1. So E of 1 is here. E of 1 ID is 456. And then E of I, where I value is 1. E of 1 name. Here the structure member is the name. Then in that we have name of the employee as John. Then E of I, where I is 1. Then employee 1 salary. Salary will be printed. But still we are in true. Again I plus plus, now I becomes 2. 2 less than 3. Condition is true. Then the next details, that means the employee which is there in the E of 2. In E of 2, the employee ID is 1 to 1 will be printed. Then the name is ABC. Then salary is 1000. In this way we can access the number. In this way we can access if we have a number of employees or a number of students more than 1 using a array of structure. Then here we have one more example. Here I consider the struct student. The members of the structure are name of the student, then marks and sum, and I want the average. Average which is of type float. These are the members of the structure. Then I created here array of a structure, means I want the details of a number of student. Let us suppose the n value is 2. I want the details of a 2 student, or if I want the details of a 60 students, it is not possible to create a single variable up to 60. For this we have a concept called array of structure. To create array of structure, we need a data type, that is a struct student. Then the variable created for this structure is yes, and here n represents how many number of students, how many student details we want. Then next is nested structure. Nested structure. A nested structure in C is a structure within a structure within a structure. So writing a structure within another structure, is called a nested structure. How we'll create a structure? How we will write a structure? Using a keyword struct. Struct student. Then suppose here I am taking struct structure name. First we'll write the syntax of the structure, structure name. Then we'll write members. Member 1, member 2, so on. But I want to write a structure within a structure. So here I am creating one more structure. Struct, this is structure name 1, 2. Then here also we are having members. Member 3, member 4, like this. And this is the inner structure. And this is the outer structure. So what is a nested structure? Writing a structure inside another structure is called a nested structure. Then how to create a variable for the structure? So while we are writing a structure, we can create a variables here. Let us suppose here var1 and a var2. So var1 is the variable created for the inner structure, and var2 is the variable created for the outer structure. If I want to access members of outer structure, just simply outer structure variable, and to access members we have to use an operator called dot operator, and outer structure member. So here outer structure variable is var2, dot, and here we have a member. So convert this into example. We'll take a small example here. Struct student. Then I'm considering members as roll number and C, just a C. I'm not taking here character array, just simply only a single character. Then I'm writing one more structure because I'm creating a nested structure. Writing a structure inside another structure. So struct student 1. So here it is having members like a float, marks. I'm writing only 1. So end of the inner structure. Here only I'm creating a variable for the inner structure. Suppose the variable for the inner structure is S1. And now I am creating variable for the outer structure, that is S2. So this is inner structure and this is the outer structure. And this is outer structure. If I want to access members of an inner structure, outer structure, to access the members, we have to use an operator called dot operator. We have to use a dot operator to access members of the structure. So to access that, we have to use outer structure variable dot outer structure member. Here outer structure variable is S2. Outer structure member is roll number. Then again, if I want to access outer structure variable, outer structure member C, then we have to use outer structure variable, that is S2.C. So if I want to access inner structure member is, we have a marks here. Here I created only marks as a member of the inner structure. If I want to access that member, then we have to use outer structure variable dot inner structure variable dot inner structure member. So outer structure variable is here S2. Then to access, we have to use a dot operator, which is access operator. Then inner structure variable, that is S1 dot inner structure member. Here inner structure member is marks. In this way, we can access the members of the nested structure. Then we'll go with the example. We'll go with the example of a nested structure. So what is a nested structure? Nested structure means writing a structure inside another structure is called a nested structure. So here I created a struct ABC. To write a structure, we need a struct keyword. Struct ABC, which is outer structure, and the members of the structure are X and Y. Then here only in the struct ABC, I am writing one more structure, that is struct PQR. This is considered as the inner structure, which is having the variables, which is having the members W and V are the members of the inner structure. And here E is the inner structure variable, and S is the here E. S is outer structure variable. So if I want to access members of a outer structure, so enter outer structure. I am using a scanf function. That means this is a runtime initialization, means whenever the program at the runtime execution, I am providing the values. So here outer structure values are 2 and 3 because X and Y both are of type integer. So format specifier is %d. Then I want to scan the values which are of outer structure. To access the member, we need a outer structure variable, then the outer structure member. Outer structure variable is here S dot member is X, comma S dot Y, address of. Then inner structure. If I want to access inner structure member, then we have to access like outer structure variable, inner structure variable, then inner structure member. Here outer structure variable is S and inner structure variable is E, then W is the member. So in this way, we'll access the members of the outer structure and inner structure. Let us consider one more example. Here I consider struct address is the outer structure and employee is the inner structure. So the structure variables created for employee is emp and for address is add. So to access name of the employee, simply we can write employee emp dot name. If I want to access the members of outer structure, that is the city, then emp dot add, because the variable for the structure address is add, dot that member present in that struct address is city. In that way, we can access the members of the nested structure. In today's session, we have discussed about array of structures and nested structures. In the next session, we'll discuss about pointer to structure and self-referential structures. Thank you.